to be a part of the workforce one day? I'd hope so. You don't want to be a hobo, right? Just kidding. If you want to join the workforce one day, you have to realize that most people aren't getting hired for the right reasons. And most of them are getting fired. More than 50% of people get fired in the first 18 months that they get hired at a new job. 26% of them get fired because they're not coachable. 23% of them don't have the emotional intelligence. I guess the 23% that are getting fired are women in that case. But 17% of people are getting fired because they don't have the right motivation for the job. 15% don't have the right temperament for the job, so they don't have the right attitude, the right personality. And only 11% are technically incompetent for the job. So today, we're going to show you, we're going to teach you, and you're going to know by the end of this video how to get hired for the right attitude. So now, we're going to show you the best hiring process in order to find out who would work best for your company, aka BS. I know you're thinking dirty, but it's called your brown shorts. It originated from the Southwest Airlines job application process.
Hello, thank you for sharing your interest in the Southwest Airlines company. My name is Aneza. I'll be interviewing you today. Now to start, I want you to put on these brown shorts.
I don't think that's going to happen. You know how long it took me to put on this suit?
Oh, hand over this. Brown shorts, ma'am. I'm ready.
Okay, so it's not like a literal, like putting on the brown shorts, okay? But it's a figurative example, you know? The brown shorts, the best fit shorts for the best fit employee. Calm down, buddy.
You should have walked away.
This is a good example of how to answer a brown short question.
So, in the case of where a customer wanted a refund, but you knew according to company policy you just couldn't give them that refund, what would you do?
I would try to explain to them the situation and tell them that we are not able to return the item, but if the customer kept being persistent, then I would get my manager and allow my manager to explain the company policy to them.
Hi, my name is David, and I'll be playing the part of the interviewee for the video presentation. We went over the chapter 2, Don't Ask Questions. We're going to be demonstrating some of the questions you don't want to ask during an interview.
Hey Dave, thanks for coming to the interview. To begin things off, I'd like to ask you, just tell me about yourself.
Well, I like to go on picnics and take long walks on the beach and encourage my friends to do what they want to do, because I think that's really important in the world.
So now can you tell me about the interview strengths?
Well, some of my great strengths and attributes are that I really feel it is important to, give back to the community, and personally I think that I give back to the community in many ways. I actually started up my own chapter for Habitat for Humanity, and I like to go around inner city areas, impoverished areas, and really just set a precedence in those areas that, we're going to clean up your streets, and that's what it's all about.
And now can you tell me some of your weaknesses?
Well, I don't really have many weaknesses, to be completely honest with you, but what I've been told are my weaknesses are that I tend to work too hard, spend too many hours in the office. I love to, I love to think about all the weaknesses that I don't have personally, and I think, my positives outweigh my weaknesses every time.
So, some of these questions that I just asked Dave are some of the ones that you should never ask. One, because they're just too vague and well known to people that are being interviewed, and that they're just around all the time that everyone asks their potential workers.
The three most common questions that take place during an interview are, tell me about yourself, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses? You should never ask these questions because they're vague, well-known, and they all sound the same, making it hard to differentiate between the people who apply for the job.
Thanks, David, for coming to this interview. Now, can you tell me a time where you had to adapt to a situation?
Oh man, this is one that I don't really like to talk about a whole lot, just because I really had a dear love for this man, in a good way, because he was my boss. He actually got ill and died, and I had to adapt because I had to take the leadership role in the workplace. Whether it be organizing company picnics, like I said earlier, picnics are some of my favorite things to do, or just rolling with the punches of not having that person in our midst every day in the workplace. And I think that's the real reason why I'm interviewing for this job right now, is because I miss that figure so much. Who was my boss. So yeah, that was an adaptable moment.
These type of questions are bad to ask because David could be lying about the entire situation that he just built up in his head, making it seem that he was adaptable to the situation that he was put in, but it could be all false. Another reason why this question is bad is because David explained how he could organize picnics for his workplace, but picnics don't really have anything to do with the actual job that is being interviewed for.
Two examples of behavioral questions are these. Tell me about when you had to adapt to a different situation. What did you do? Tell me about a conflict with a coworker and how you resolved it. You should never ask these questions because you don't know if the person answering is the problem bringer or solver. You don't know if they will adapt well.
Alright, Dave, can you tell me what you would do if you found a bag of weed in the workplace?
Well, personally, I've never seen or smelled a bag of cannabis before, but I would imagine if I ever came across it, I would have to notify my supervisor immediately, because obviously that kind of nonsense is not to be tolerated in the workplace.
The reason we don't ask these types of questions is because the candidate, Dave, the interviewee, can make himself look as if he is the most idealized candidate for the job.
Hypothetical questions, such as, what would you do in this situation, should not be asked because the answer could be idealized, meaning that the candidate can contrive an answer that makes them seem better than they may actually perform in real life.
Alright, Dave, another question. If you had to be an animal, what would it be?
I've actually done a lot of thinking about what kind of animal I would prefer to be if I was an animal. Personally, I think I would prefer to be a bald eagle because he's the symbol of freedom and liberty, and the symbol of our great country, the United States of America. I also think that I soar in every position that I'm in, which eagles also do. They fly high, just like me, in every way. I personally think that there couldn't be a better just depiction of me in any other animal other than a bald eagle. For those reasons that I gave you. 1, I soar. 2, I'm a patriot. 3, I love wildlife and preserving it.
Alright, that kind of question that Dave just answered about the animal, it just isn't a good indicator of high or low performance. It has nothing to do with his work ethic or just how he's going to be in the workplace. There's just no science to back it up. Like, even if that's all true, it just doesn't apply to actually working.
When interviewing a candidate, you should steer clear of non-differentiating questions, such as, what kind of animal would you be? You should not ask these types of questions because it has not been concluded whether the answer is an indicator of high or low performance. There's no science to back up these questions.